The Buddha once said, "All conditioned phenomena are impermanent." Mind-blowing, right? But here's the kicker. He wasn't just talking about the big stuff like mountains or galaxies. Nope. He was talking about everything. Every little thing in your life, including your thoughts, your emotions, your experiences. All of it? Let that sink in. Everything is constantly changing. So today, let's dive into the 3 signatas of life, the blueprint of existence. These are the 3 qualities the Buddha said define everything around us and within us. If you get these, your life will start to make a whole lot more sense. Ready? Let's break it down. First up, Anicca, impermanence. This one's the biggie. The truth is, nothing stays the same. Everything around you, from the seasons changing to your favorite coffee shop closing down, is always in flux. That's the surface level of impermanence, the obvious stuff. But hold up, it gets deeper. Your body, for example, is constantly changing. Yesterday you were at peak health. Today, maybe you're dealing with a cold. That's impermanence too. It's not just about buildings crumbling or rivers drying up. It's about the reality that your body is always in transition. You're literally aging in real time. Ever felt like you're not the same person you were a year ago? That's impermanence at work. Now let's go even deeper. Ever thought about yourself, the person you think you are? All those perceptions you have about yourself, your memories, your identity, they're not as solid as you think. You experience your life through your senses, what you see, hear, taste, touch, and feel. And all of that is constantly shifting. Think about this. At this very moment, what you thought you understood about life is already fading. Every word you've heard in this video? They're already becoming impermanent. Yep, they're changing. The Buddha didn't just say this to sound deep. He was offering a life-changing insight. Everything in your life, your experiences, your ideas about who you are in a constant state of flux. And when you grasp this, it shifts everything. Suddenly, the pressure to hold on to things lessens. You stop freaking out about losing what you have because, well, everything is already on the move. And if you get that, if you truly understand impermanence, you'll start to see things in a whole new way. Because here's the secret. The moment you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you get a taste of real peace. But don't stop there. There's more to this teaching. Stick with me, because we're just getting started. The Buddha dropped some serious wisdom when he said that everything is conditioned. Every experience you have, every thought you process, everything you see, hear, or feel, it's all the result of a set of conditions coming together. And guess what? Those conditions are constantly changing. Think about it. If you're in a room and someone blames you for something far away, you don't get mad, right? You don't even know it's happening. But the moment you hear it, boom, your emotions shift, and now you're angry. That's how the conditions work. When they change, so does your experience. But here's the kicker. All these conditions are impermanent. The nature of life itself is in constant flux. Your identity, your perceptions, your experiences, they're all constantly shifting. You think you're a fixed person, but you're not. You're in motion, just like everything around you. So, what happens when we cling to the idea that things should be permanent? We get frustrated. And that brings us to the second nature of life, dukkha, or in simpler terms, dissatisfaction. The Buddha's second big truth is that life is full of suffering. Why? Because we expect permanence in a world that is constantly changing. You know that feeling when you're at your peak happiness and you just wish that moment would last forever? Yeah, that's dukkha. Or when you're in the middle of a painful situation, convinced it's going to last forever. That too is dukkha. But guess what? Everything, and I mean everything, changes. Good times don't last forever, but neither do bad ones. Let's break it down. You get a taste of joy, you're on top of the world, and then, boom, it's gone. That's life. Same with pain. It feels like it's never going to end. But trust me, it will. Life's impermanence means that no experience, no matter how great or awful, stays the same. But here's the big aha moment. When you stop expecting that everything should last, when you let go of the belief that happiness or suffering should be permanent, that's when you step into real freedom. Why does this matter? Because understanding this reality, really understanding it, can change the way you experience life. When you stop trying to hold on to things that are naturally slipping through your fingers, you free yourself. You stop suffering over things that were never meant to stay. Now, let's keep it real. Accepting this isn't easy. But the truth? It's liberating. Let go of the expectation that life's moments should be permanent, and suddenly you're free to just live. That's the magic of the second sign of life, my friends. The realization that life doesn't owe you permanence. It's all temporary. And that's okay. Let's get real for a second. Life isn't what you think it is. In fact, the Buddha laid down a truth bomb that will shake you to your core. Everything around you, everything within you is constantly changing. And no matter how much you cling to something, it's still slipping through your fingers. This is what's called impermanence. You think you've got a grip on life, right? You wake up, get things done, feel in control. But here's the truth. Nothing stays the same. Your body, your mind, your emotions, they're all in a state of flux. One minute you're flying high, the next you're crashing down. And that's life. But here's where it gets juicy. This impermanence, it's not a curse. It's the nature of life itself. Everything changes. It's not up for debate. It's just what is. But here's the kicker. People can't handle this. We expect things to last forever. We want that moment of happiness to never end. We want pain to be a one-time thing, like a bad dream we wake up from. But that's not how it works. That's what the Buddha called dukkha, suffering. We suffer because we expect the impossible, permanence in a world built on change. We hold on tight to good moments, thinking they'll never fade, and we try to escape bad ones, thinking they'll never end. Spoiler alert, they all pass. Now let's talk about the third reality of life. It's called Anatta, no permanent self. Wait, what? Yep, you heard me. If everything around you is changing, why would you think the self you think you know, would stay the same? It's like expecting a candle flame to stay the same size forever. That flame? It's not static. It's just a process, a collection of conditions. When the conditions are right, it burns. When they're gone, it flickers out. And that's you. Your self is just a collection of fleeting conditions. Your identity, your thoughts, your feelings. They're all just the result of what's happening around you. So, what does this mean for you? It means you're not as solid as you think. Your thoughts and feelings? Changing. Your moods? Changing. Yourself? Changing. Everything around you? Also changing. Nothing lasts. Not the good stuff, not the bad stuff, and certainly not that perfect version of yourself you're clinging to. But here's the real breakthrough. When you get this, when you truly understand it, you stop expecting permanence. And that's when you stop suffering. Because, let's face it, if everything around you is shifting, the key isn't holding on tighter. It's learning to flow with it. When you stop fighting reality, you can actually enjoy the ride. You stop wishing things would never change and start embracing the change that's happening right now. That's the magic. And once you realize this, life becomes less about controlling the uncontrollable and more about simply being aware, present, and free. Now, that's a life worth living.